All right.
Amen. It's good to be back at Big Spring. It's been a while. The last time I was here, the 4 year wasn't done yet. It looks real nice out there. It's always welcoming. Thank you for the food and welcoming our family like we're not strangers, because it doesn't feel like that anytime we come here. And it's good to see you, Smiley, Mrs. Smiley, and you guys. But we know you guys are here for a reason. And I just want to thank you, Liz, for welcoming us. Be transparent. This is always nerve-wracking to me. This is not who I am. If you know who I am, I'm not a person that comes up here and likes the mic or likes to come up here and preach. More of a background, road guy, security at on fire campus. And that's pretty much what I like. Stay in the back and just kind of keep to myself. And being up here, more of it was back in my early years was nerve-wracking, more just nervous because it's just not who I am. But more of it is now a way to that I realize what standing behind this actually means, and what I say and what I preach and whatever word I can manipulate somebody for either good or evil. And we've seen that in the world today. And I can only thank you and Mike Robin and Pastor of being faithful to not only this church, but to this ministry, and being real men and women of God. And I don't take this lightly. I don't take this opportunity lightly, because I know being beside Pastor for so many years, I see the murmuring, I see the backstabbing, I see the dirty side of the ministry, and that's why I've run from it. I would be transparent. I've been, I don't know if you know, guys, what I do. I'm a cop, and I'd rather take my chances out there on the streets. I see the dirty side of the ministry, but I also see the good side. Amen. I see the faithfulness. I see what God has done in not only my life, but in my family's life. I've seen what God has done in our church and our ministry, and in the second campus out here, and there's only great things that are going to be happening out here. And Liz and Mike, they've known me the longest over there in Brandenburg. Glad Tidings. So they've known me since I was a kid. And it's just awesome I thank you. I thank Mike. You guys are awesome people, men of God. We miss you as well. I miss Mike. And we just pray for them while they're in Africa. They're better than me. Thank God for our missionaries, right? Amen?
Yes,
Because, y'all can have that. I don't want nothing to do with that. I think my wife was telling me earlier today, they was out in the bush, and they were sleeping out in the bush, and there was lions.
Yeah.
They could hear them. Yeah, y'all can have that. Yeah. So we're going to pray for them.
Yes.
Pray for Mike, Pastor Mike, and Pastor, and all the other missionaries that are there. Just pray the hedge of protection over them, and the safe while they're there, and safe travels back. But with no further ado, we're just going to get into the word. I'm not going to keep you guys long, but this is a word that God dropped in my heart. Faith under pressure. Everybody in this room, in some shape or form, is going into, or they're in it, or they're exiting something in their life, in whatever degree that may be, big, small, whatever situation that you may be facing. We're all going to go through trials and tribulations in our life, and God is looking for those ones who are faithful under pressure. Let's say that together. Faith under pressure. I'm going to say that a couple times tonight. Faith under pressure. Are you battle ready? When you go through that trial, you go through that situation, are you battle ready? Is your faith under that pressure, the pressure of this world, the pressure of everyday life, the pressure of being a husband, the pressure of being a mother, the pressure of being a parent, the pressure of our job, the pressure of the ministry, whatever you're going through, are you battle hardened? Are you battle ready? And those are the type of people God is looking for. not to throw in the towel, and not to call quits, not to go on Facebook, not to be murmuring around each other's backs, not to be pointing fingers. Are we doing the necessary steps? Are we doing the necessary tools that God has given us to be faithful in that season, to be strong in that season? Faith under pressure. We're going to go to James 1. I'm going to be reading from the text of the Message. When I was reading it in the King James Version, and this was something God put in my heart, and then for some reason I went to the Message, and it hit me even harder. It was a more clearer, more dumbed down version for me, and it just spoke to me even more. It's lengthy, but try to stay with me. Faith under pressure. I want you just to grab a hold of whatever you may be going through right now. It's not too small, it's not too big. And like I said, you may be in it right now, you may have just exited, or you're about to go into season. It is not what if, it's when. You're going to go through something in life, and it's a promise. And how you go through that, and how you come out of it, it's going to be a testimony for yourself and for the influence around you.
Yes.
If you're there, James 1, we're sorry, verse 2. Consider it a sheer gift, friends, when tests and challenges come at you from all sides. You know that under pressure, your faith life is forced into the open, and it shows its true colors. So don't try to get out of anything prematurely. Let it do its work so you become mature and well-developed, not defined in any way. If you do not know what you're doing, you pray to the Father. He loves to help. He'll give you his help, and he won't be condescending to when you ask for it. Ask boldly, believingly, without a second thought. People who worry their prayers are like wind-whipped waves. Don't think you're going to get anything from the master that way. Adrift at sea, keeping all your options open. When down and outers get a break, cheer. And when the arrogant rich are brought down to size, cheer. Prosperity is as short-lived as a wildflower, so don't ever count on it. You know that as soon as the sun rises, pouring down in scorching heat, the flower withers. Its still wilt, and before you know it, that beautiful face is barren stem. Well, that's a picture of the prosperous life. At the very moment, everything is looking in admiration. It fades away to nothing. Anyone who meets a testing challenge head on, manages to stick it out, is a mighty fortune. For such a person is loyally in love with God. The reward is life and more life. Don't let anyone under pressure to give it all evil say. God is trying to trip you up. God is impetus to evil, and he puts evil in no one's way. The temptation to give into evil comes from us and only us. We have no one to blame but the leering, seducing, flaring up of our own lust. Lust gets pregnant and has a baby. Sin. Sin grows up to adulthood and becomes a real killer. So my very dear friends, don't get thrown off course. Every desirable and beneficial gift comes out of heaven. The gifts are rivers of light down from the Father of light. There is nothing deceitful in God, nothing two-faced, nothing fickle. He brought us to this life using the true word, showing us off as a crown of his children. Faith under pressure. I know there was a lot to unpack, but what I noticed in all that, what it didn't say, is when trial and tribulation and heartache comes my way, I'm going to stick my tail in between my legs and I'm going to go hide in the corner.
Right.
It didn't say that I'm going to go on Facebook and vent. It didn't say I'm going to go to work and when I know I should have kept my mouth closed and have every reason to open up my mouth, I'm going to talk behind everybody's back. It didn't say that when I don't want to be here in this house to serve, I'm going to pout, I'm going to point fingers, and I'm going to say things that I don't like how the ministry's going, or it should go this way, and it should be this way, and that. It didn't say any of that. It actually says the opposite. Put on a smile and be cheerful. Expect those obstacles in your life to come your way and welcome them.
Right.
Yes.
What is that saying? Because on the other side of your obedience, there's that testimony.
Right.
And then we have to get outside of being selfish and think, my testimony is not only for me, it could be for somebody else that's going through that very thing.
Yeah.
Because what other way, how can you bond with somebody even greater than not only being a welcoming hand and a good smile, but hey man, when they opened up to you, man, I went through that too. I just went through that. I just came out of it
Yeah.
a couple years ago, a couple months ago, a couple weeks ago. Let me pray with you. You, on the other side of your obedience, on the other side of you pressing through what the devil meant for evil,
Come on.
what the devil meant for evil, look what God can do.
Yes.
Look what God can do. And I went throughout the whole Bible and I was looking into stories or remembering of stories that, man, who does this exemplify? And I mean, a lot of people could take the place, but a person stood out to me the most, and it was Joseph. Faith under pressure.
Yeah.
If you don't know about the story of Joseph, it's in Genesis, and we're gonna go through here shortly his life step by step. Joseph was a son who was loved by his father.
Yeah.
And he was a son, and he was a brother of other brothers. And his father loved him the most. Now, you can go off in tangent, and that could be a whole other story. I wouldn't agree with that. I love my children all the same. But for whatever reason, Joseph was favored. And his brothers hated him for that very thing, because his father showed love to him. So they plotted against him, and they wanted to kill him at first. But they decided to sell him into slavery. So imagine your life. You woke up, he probably woke up that morning, put his clothes on, went out with his brothers. He thought they loved him. Whatever, they was going to go feed the sheep and go do what they were going to do. Literally that evening, he's a slave.
Yeah.
Faith under pressure.
Right.
He had every reason to give up. He had every reason to point the finger. He had every reason to quit.
Right.
But he didn't. And then shortly after that, he was bought by Potiphar. And he was brought into his house. Faith under pressure. Now he's a slave under Potiphar. And he rises to the ranks in Potiphar's house. He becomes the head slave. I don't know if that's a good title, but I guess that's got to be better than the other slaves.
Right.
I'm sure he had a little bit more freedom. I'm sure he had a little bit more leash on his, he could do more than the other ones could do. Faith under pressure. And then Potiphar's wife accuses him of trying to sleep with him. Lies on him. And Potiphar throws him in prison. He had every reason to quit. He had every reason to, man, this ain't working out. God, I'm dipping. Where are you at, God? But he didn't. He stayed faithful under pressure. He stayed obedient.
Yeah.
He never called out God because he knew God was there for him. And if God was for him, who could be against him? And every situation that he faced in his life, up to that moment, he put God first. And then he's in prison. And somehow he gets the rank of, top prison guard or whatever, top of the prison. He's doing everything. God has seen favor in his faithfulness. In the midst of his situation. And then the king wanted somebody to interpret his dreams. Hey, we know a guy named Joseph. He's a man of God. He interprets dreams. So he comes and interprets his dream. And what happens? It comes to pass. Everything he said. God's hand was on Joseph in the midst of all he was going through. And then what that lead to? He comes to the second in command. The second in command of all, nobody's above Joseph except Pharaoh himself. We go back. He's just living a measly old life. He gets betrayed by his brothers. He gets betrayed by Potiphar's wife. He gets sold, or he becomes the head of the prison, and now he's second in command. What faith? I don't even know if I could do that, but I want some Joseph faith today. I want whatever I'm going through, whatever you're going through, I want some Joseph faith. I want to go through every trial, every tribulation, every wall in a hard place, whatever it may come my way. God, I'll put you first. Let me be battle ready. Let my faith under pressure, because, man, we know life does that to us. You'd be lying if it didn't. I deal with my own stuff. I know everybody is going through something right now in whatever fashion. Maybe small, maybe big. It may be a major life situation, changing situation right now. And God is saying, if you're just faithful, if you're just faithful, this too shall pass. Amen. This too shall pass. Yes. Whatever you're going through, I'm there in the midst of it. Right. Amen. These are not fairy tales, people. Right. And I think we forget that sometimes. When you read that whole story, it's crazy to see what Joseph went through. And that was only a monologue, like real condensed. I mean, that's nothing. I mean, you really get into the story of Joseph, my God, what he had to go through, what he came from, and God only excelled. God only promoted him. God only opened more doors for him in the midst of all the crap he was going through. So don't ever think that your situation is just, I'm down and out. I'm 3 strikes and I'm out. Not with God. Not with God. His baseball is totally different than this baseball. 4 strikes, 5 strikes. I'm going to keep on going. If I just focus on the Lord, am I doing the necessary things? If we're just going, I'm sure Joseph was prayed up. I'm sure Joseph was in his word. I'm sure Joseph was praying. I'm sure Joseph was still being a servant as being a slave. And with all that has happened in his life, all that he had to go through, he never pointed the finger at God. And I hope that tonight we realize that no matter what we're going through, we never say, God, you did this. Never let us get into that. That's when we're creeping into dangerous territory. That's exactly where the devil wants us to get to. That, and my God, I know we're all probably in here seasoned with our family, and sometimes we forget, but look how far God has brought us this far. Amen. And we're going through something. This is just another notch on my belt. This is just another testimony that I can give somebody. This is another thing I can inventory in my file cabinet and be like, yeah, I went through that too, brother.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Yeah, I went through that. Same thing. Maybe a little bit different. When we get out of this selfishness, it's all about us. And we realize the ministry, we're all pastors in some form or some way. That we can be out here and we can influence the people that are heartbroken and are looking for something other than what they have right now. Yeah. And I say it's silly to say that, and it may be cliche or maybe bring it on. The more I can go through, the more I can be able to be a testimony to somebody. The more we get out of it's about me, and it's like, what can I do for you? Yeah. That's where God can use you in a mighty way.
Yeah. Yes. Come on.
And if I could, I'm going to end there. If I could get some leadership and maybe some soft playing music, maybe 2, 3 leadership, not too many people. Because I don't know who may need some prayer. But if you're going through something right now, and if you could dim the lights for me, please, just some soft